As a brain doctor who has spent decades in stroke units, I need to tell you something that may feel uncomfortable but could save your life. If you are over 60, one sweet and seemingly harmless habit may quietly raise your risk of a stroke overnight with no warning, no pain, and no chance to react. You go to bed feeling fine, and by morning your speech is slurred, your balance is gone, or one side of your body simply will not move. Here is what most people never hear. Not every fruit is friendly to an aging brain. And even healthy fruits can become dangerous when they collide with slower kidneys, stiffer arteries, delicate blood vessels, and common heart or blood pressure medications. Some fruits spike your blood sugar. Some act like diuretics that thicken your blood by morning. Some interfere with the way your liver processes prescriptions. And some contain natural compounds that thin your blood too much or trigger inflammation inside brain vessels. Today, I am going to show you exactly which fruits create those silent risks, how timing and portions turn a good choice into a bad outcome, and what safer swaps protect your brain without giving up the pleasure of fresh food. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Breathe, stay curious, and listen closely. This is not about fear. It is about respect for the marvelous but changing body you live in, and the simple choices that keep your brain safe for the years ahead. Part 1. Bananas. Too much potassium, too fast. You have heard it all your life. Bananas are the perfect snack. They are soft, portable, and packed with potassium that helps the heart. For a younger metabolism, that may be true, but past 60, the equation changes. The kidneys filter more slowly. The heart and vessels are more sensitive to mineral shifts. And many older adults take medicines like ACE inhibitors, angiotensin receptor blockers, or potassium-sparing diuretics. That is where trouble begins. A large banana can carry well over 400 milligrams of potassium, which is fine for a hardy body. But in an older adult on those medications, it can push blood potassium upward overnight. Elevated potassium does not just cause muscle twitches. It alters the electrical rhythm of the heart, lowers blood pressure unpredictably, and encourages sluggish blood flow that can foster clot formation in narrow brain arteries. Add a bedtime banana and you have the perfect storm. Circulation slows during sleep, hydration dips, and platelet activity changes in a way that can tip a borderline vessel from open to blocked. I will never forget a patient who ate a banana at night to avoid late snacks. He also took a common blood pressure medicine that preserves potassium. He woke with a drooping mouth and garbled words. Labs showed high potassium, and scans showed a small clot in a deep brain artery. He recovered with therapy, but the lesson was brutal. Bananas are not the villain. Timing and stacking risks are. Here is how to stay safe. If you love bananas, choose a small half banana in the morning and always pair it with protein or fat, like Greek yogurt or a spoon of peanut butter, to slow absorption. Skip banana smoothies that concentrate the load and avoid banana at bedtime. If you take medicines that affect potassium, ask your doctor whether a daily banana still fits your plan. Your goal is stability, not spikes. If this surprised you, wait until you hear about grapes, the tiny sugar bombs that can inflame fragile vessels in minutes. Part 2. Grapes. sugar bomb in a tiny package. Grapes look innocent, but the modern seedless varieties are bred for sweetness and speed. Your teeth barely touch them, and the natural glucose and fructose rush into the bloodstream. That is a problem for the aging brain because older arteries are less elastic, the insulin response is slower, and the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of vessels, is easier to irritate. Rapid sugar surges trigger oxidative stress and microscopic tears in that lining. Your body tries to repair the tears with platelets and clotting proteins. In a young artery, the repair is smooth. In an older artery that is already narrowed by cholesterol and calcium, those tiny repairs can become sticky ledges where a clot anchors. Add dehydration or a stressful afternoon, and you have the conditions for a transient ischemic attack, where a small clot briefly blocks flow to a language or vision area. Symptoms fade. So people shrug, but the warning is loud. You can enjoy grapes safely if you change the rules. Never eat a bowl of grapes alone on an empty stomach. Keep portions to a small handful and always pair with protein and fiber, like a few almonds or a slice of cheese, which blunt the glucose surge. Eat them earlier in the day, then drink water after. If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, consider swapping grapes for berries, which offer color and antioxidants with far less sugar. Remember the pattern: speed, spike, stickiness. You do not feel the chemistry, but your vessels do. And if the idea of grapes being risky makes you uneasy, the next fruit carries a double punch. Pineapple delivers both sugar and acid, along with an enzyme that can interfere with platelet function. That combination can be far more dangerous than a dessert cookie. Part 3. Pineapple. Acid and enzyme pressures on the brain. Pineapple promises tropical health. But for older adults, the details matter. A cup of pineapple contains a hefty sugar load and a high glycemic index. So the blood sugar spike is quick. On top of that spike, you get bromelain, the pineapple enzyme many people tout for digestion. In modest culinary doses, it is usually harmless. But in sensitive bodies or in combination with blood thinners and antiplatelet medicines, bromelain may nudge platelet function and clotting balance. Layer in acidity that irritates the esophagus and can worsen silent nighttime reflux. That reflux can disrupt sleep, lower oxygen briefly, and trigger morning blood pressure swings. A pattern linked with early morning strokes. I have seen the chain more than once. An older adult with a nightly pineapple ritual, a bit of aspirin for the heart, a calcium channel blocker for blood pressure, and a light dinner. Overnight, they toss, reflux, dehydrate, and wake dizzy with slurred speech. Imaging shows a small clot at the back of the brain where balance and coordination live. Cause is rarely a single food. But pineapple can be the nudge that moves a wobbly system toward an event. Safer use is simple. Keep portions small. Skip pineapple at night. And pair with protein at lunch if you choose to have it. If you take blood thinners or daily aspirin, ask your clinician whether pineapple is wise for you. If you struggle with reflux, choose gentle fruits at dinner, like a few berries, and elevate the head of your bed. The theme keeps repeating. Older bodies need steadiness, not spikes. If pineapple raised your eyebrows, get ready for watermelon, which looks like pure hydration but can stealthily dry you out and thicken your blood by morning. Part 4. Watermelon. Not always hydrating for an aging brain. Watermelon seems like summer medicine. It is mostly water. It cools you off, and it tastes light. For a younger body, that may be perfect. For older adults, especially on diuretics or ACE inhibitors, watermelon can push the body toward dehydration. It acts like a mild diuretic and encourages frequent urination. If you enjoy generous slices after dinner, you may shed fluids through the evening, sleep through thirst, and wake with concentrated blood. Thicker blood moves slowly through narrow arteries, which increases the chance that platelets will clump on a rough patch of vessel lining and form a clot. Morning is already the vulnerable window for stroke because hormones and blood pressure shift as you wake. Add overnight dehydration, and a clot that might have floated by at noon can stick at dawn. The fix is not to fear watermelon. It is to respect timing and context. If you love it, eat a modest portion at lunch. Sprinkle a pinch of mineral salt on top. Drink a glass of water with electrolytes in the afternoon. And avoid it after dinner, especially if you take water pills. Pay attention to morning clues. Dry mouth, darker urine, lightheadedness when you stand, or a foggy first hour are red flags. Your brain wants smooth blood moving at a steady pace. Watermelon late at night can turn that river into syrup by sunrise. And if a watery fruit can do that, imagine what citrus can do when it tangles with your medications. Next comes oranges, where the issue is not just sugar, but an often ignored compound that blocks the safe breakdown of common heart drugs. Part 5. Oranges. Citrus interactions that can tilt your chemistry. Oranges have a golden halo. Vitamin C. Bright flavor. Memories of health classes in school. For older adults on prescriptions, the halo deserves a careful look. Citrus fruits, especially grapefruit and some oranges, contain furanocoumarins, compounds that slow one of the liver's major detox pathways. That pathway, called the cytochrome P450 system, helps clear statins, calcium channel blockers, antiarrhythmics, and more. When it is slowed by daily citrus juice, drug levels can rise in your bloodstream, causing side effects your doctor never intended. Blood pressure can dip too low, heart rhythm can wobble, and muscles can ache as statins accumulate. Those swings do not just feel bad. They create unstable circulation and inflammatory stress on the inner lining of your vessels. Unstable vessels clot or leak more easily, and either pathway can end in a stroke. The solution is not to ban citrus, it is to individualize it. A splash of orange in water with breakfast is very different from a tall glass of juice on an empty stomach. When you take your morning pills, whole citrus segments are gentler than juice because fiber slows absorption. Clementines are usually lower in the culprits than grapefruit, but you should still ask your pharmacist whether your specific medications have citrus cautions. If you love orange flavor, try zest in yogurt or a wedge with a mixed meal rather than a solo juice. Protect the liver that protects your brain. By preventing drug accumulation, you keep your blood pressure steadier, your vessel lining calmer, and your stroke risk lower. Now, let us turn to apples, the symbol of health that can still ambush you when sweetness and timing are stacked wrong. Part 6. Apples. Surprise sugar trap and how to make them brain-friendly. An apple a day can still be part of a brain-safe life, but variety, pairing, and timing decide whether that apple protects you or pushes you. Many modern apples, like Honeycrisp or Fuji, are bred for high sugar and low tartness, eaten alone in the afternoon or evening. They digest fast and push glucose up at a time of day when insulin sensitivity is fading. That sudden rise tightens arteries and nudges blood towards stickiness. The dip that follows can leave you lightheaded and craving more sweetness. Repeat that cycle daily and you bathe your vessel lining in churned chemistry. There is a better way. Choose tart and lower sugar varieties like Granny Smith or Pink Lady. Always eat apples with protein or fat, such as a small piece of cheese or a spoon of almond butter, which slows the glucose curve and keeps blood flow smooth. Peel or no peel depends on digestion. The peel carries polyphenols that protect vessels, but it also carries pesticide residue if not organic. Wash thoroughly or buy organic when budget allows. Keep apples a daytime food. Morning to early afternoon is the window when the metabolism handles fruit best. Never end the evening with a sweet apple. Bedtime is the time for stability and rest, not a glucose roller coaster. If you track blood sugar, watch what your personal response looks like after different apple varieties and pairings. Data beats guesswork. The goal is not fear, it is precision. Apples can be a crisp ally for an aging brain when you pick the right kind. Pair it wisely and time it for your best chemistry. If this feels like fine print, stay with me. The next fruit is tiny and elegant, praised for joints and heart. Yet it hides natural salicylates that add to the effects of aspirin and antiplatelet drugs. For some older adults, that extra nudge is enough to turn a fragile vessel into a brain bleed. Part 7. Cherries. Hidden salicylates that stack with your pills. Cherries are rich in anthocyanins that soothe inflammation, but they also contain natural salicylates, the same family of compounds that makes aspirin thin your blood. In a younger person not on medication, that is a gentle benefit. In an older adult already taking aspirin, clopidogrel, or other antiplatelet drugs after a stent or stroke. Extra salicylates from generous bowls of cherries or concentrated cherry juice can push clotting too low. The brain has tiny perforating vessels that feed deep structures. When clotting is too thin and pressure spikes during a cough or strain, those delicate vessels can rupture. The warning signs are often brushed aside. New headaches, easy bruising, bleeding gums, or prolonged nosebleeds. Then one morning there is a sudden thunderclap headache, vomiting, confusion, or a new weakness. Imaging shows a hemorrhagic stroke. No trauma, just a system nudged past its safe range. Here is how to keep cherries beneficial. Watch portions. A small handful with a mixed meal is different from a nightly bowl or a concentrated juice shot. Skip cherry extract capsules unless your doctor agrees they fit your medication plan. If you are on any antiplatelet or anticoagulant therapy, ask specifically about salicylate-containing foods. If you notice new bleeding signs, pause cherries and call your clinician. Cherries are not a villain. They are potent, and potency demands respect when medicines are already on board. If this is the first time you have heard food talked about like a drug, that is the point. In an aging body, food is chemistry, and chemistry can be friend or foe. Now, let us examine strawberries, the poster child of summer that hides two less obvious risks: pesticide residue that burdens an older brain, and purines that can stoke uric acid and vascular inflammation. Part 8. Strawberries. Pesticide load and uric acid sparks. Strawberries are beautiful, but they top lists of heavily sprayed crops year after year. Even after washing, conventional berries can carry residues of neurotoxic pesticides. A young liver and kidney may shrug off that load. An older body that processes slowly can accumulate those residues in fat and brain tissue. where they add oxidative stress and chip away at the integrity of small vessels. The other quiet risk is purines, natural compounds that break down into uric acid. Elevated uric acid does not only flare gout, it stiffens arteries, raises blood pressure, and inflames the very lining strokes exploit. If you choose strawberries, make them organic whenever possible. Wash thoroughly, and keep them as part of a mixed plate rather than a solo bowl. If budget is tight, buy organic frozen berries from trusted brands, which are often cheaper than fresh and still tested for residues. Pair strawberries with probiotic yogurt and walnuts to add fat, protein, and fiber that stabilize the glucose response and support the gut, which helps the liver clear toxins. If you have gout, kidney disease, or blood pressure that is hard to control, talk to your doctor before making strawberries a daily habit. Rotate in lower risk fruits like blueberries and blackberries, which deliver similar color power with less pesticide load. Food can nurture or needle. With strawberries, you keep the beauty and lose the burden by choosing organic, pairing wisely, and skipping the daily smoothie that concentrates sugar and exposures. Last comes mango, the tropical delight with the sweetest taste and the trickiest chemistry, where sugar spikes collide with possible medication interference. Part 9. Mango, sugar surge and metabolic mischief. Mango is luscious, and that is the warning. The riper the mango, the higher the sugar and the faster it hits. A cup of ripe mango can rival dessert for sugar load, and dried mango is even more concentrated. In older adults with insulin resistance, those spikes force insulin to surge and vascular tone to tighten. Spikes become crashes that leave you shaky, hungry, and prone to late snacking. Over weeks and months, that pattern thickens the blood, roughens vessel linings, and sets the stage for a small clot to take root. There is also a second layer. Some plant compounds in mango may slow parts of the liver's enzyme system that clears common heart medicines. Evidence is still evolving, but in clinic, we repeatedly see older adults on several prescriptions develop lightheadedness and morning lows after adding daily mango or dried mango. It is the stacking that hurts. Age, medicines, a sweet fruit, a late hour. Here is the safer path. If you love mango, treat it like a garnish. A few small cubes tossed into a big bowl of unsweetened Greek yogurt with chia seeds and crushed pecans at midday is a different chemistry from a cup of dried mango strips after dinner. Never eat mango at night. Never use it to wash down pills. If you are on blood pressure, rhythm, or cholesterol medications, ask your clinician whether frequent mango makes sense for you. Replace a large serving with a few bright bites. Or better, swap to berries, kiwi, or a small slice of citrus zest for flavor without the flood. The brain wants even tides, not tidal waves. When in doubt, favor fruits that give color without chaos. Doctor's final words. You have just seen how 9 everyday fruits can become risky in an aging body. Not because fruit is bad, but because age changes how the brain, the liver, the kidneys, the heart, and the vessels respond to sugar, acid, fluid shifts, and medication interactions. The message is not to fear food. The message is to respect timing, portions, pairing, and prescriptions. Eat fruit earlier in the day. Pair it with protein, fiber, and healthy fat. Favor low sugar, high polyphenol choices like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, Granny Smith apples, kiwi, and small amounts of pomegranate diluted in water. Keep citrus modest if you take medications cleared by the liver. And talk to your pharmacist about grapefruit and orange caution. Choose organic for thin-skinned berries when possible. Wash thoroughly. And rotate your choices through the week rather than repeating the same fruit daily. Hydrate with electrolytes, especially if you take diuretics. And avoid large fruit servings at night when circulation slows and the brain is most vulnerable to pressure swings and thickened blood. Your body still remembers how to heal. Give it stable fuel, steady blood flow, and unhurried chemistry. Share this message with someone you love who snacks mindlessly on fruit while juggling several prescriptions. A simple change in timing or portion can be the difference between a healthy morning walk and a frightening trip to the emergency room. Now, I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you have learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let us support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, comment 1. If not, comment 0. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Stay wise, stay steady, and keep feeding your brain the future it deserves.